The Chicago Bears are building a legitimate contender.
Last season, the Chicago Bears were one of the worst teams in all of football. This is a trend that has been occurring for the past few years, with Chicago not having a winning record since 2018 and missing the playoffs since 2020. Despite this, after being one of the most active teams in the entire league this offseason, they could be primed for a big year in 2024 that could build the foundation to make them contenders for the next decade. Today we will look at how the Bears fared last season, big trades they made in the offseason, who all they added to the draft, and the players they added and lost in free agency, to answer the question of if the Bears will be legitimate contenders in the 2024 season. How the Bears fared last season. While Chicago still finished the 2023 season with a losing 7-10 record, this was still a huge improvement from the previous year, where they had a near league worst 3-14 record. When taking into account all of the injuries that the team went through, most notably to their starting quarterback, Justin Fields, as he missed 4 games. While they had a subpar passing offense, finishing 27th in the league in passing yards and 23rd in passing touchdowns, they were one of the best teams in the league on the ground, ranking 2nd in the league in rushing yards and 11th in rushing touchdowns. Overall, defensively, they were in the top half of the league, ranking 12th in yards allowed. While they were one of the worst defenses in the league in terms of passing yards allowed and passing touchdowns allowed, they won the turnover battle, tying the San Francisco 49ers for first in the league in interceptions. Despite this being an overall rough season for Bears fans, there were some promising pieces of the year that the team will be able to build on heading into 2024. Big trades in the offseason. The first trade of the offseason for Chicago sent a 4th-round pick to the Buffalo Bills for offensive lineman Ryan Bates. This was a position of need for the Bears, who finished the 2023 season with the 7th most sacks allowed in the league. This was not the only 2024 4th-round pick that Chicago shipped off in a trade. They also sent a 4th-rounder to the Los Angeles Chargers to add 6-time Pro Bowler Keenan Allen to the team. While Allen will be 32 years old in the 2024 season and has had a rough run of injuries through the past few seasons, when he's on the field, he is still one of the most talented pass catchers that the league has to offer and will be an essential piece to what is now an elite wide receiver room in Chicago. The most recent trade that the Bears made this offseason came shortly before the draft and made it clear where their intentions were with the first overall pick. Since it was confirmed that Chicago was going to have the first pick in the draft, fans around the league were split into 2 schools of thought. The first believed that the Bears should use the pick to get what could be the future face of the league in Caleb Williams, while others thought they should hold on to Justin Fields, trade down and use the picks that they got from the trade to fill multiple holes in the roster. However, when Chicago traded Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2nd-round pick, it let everyone in the NFL world know that the Bears front office had made up their mind and were going with Williams with the top pick. Offensive acquisitions in free agency. The biggest addition to their offense that the Bears made in free agency came with the signing of DeAndre Swift to a 3-year, $24.5 million deal. Swift had an incredible season with the Philadelphia Eagles last season, where he made the first Pro Bowl appearance of his career on the back of a 1,049-yard, 5-touchdown year on the ground. Along with Swift, Chicago also added another talented pass catcher from the Los Angeles Chargers in Gerald Everett, signing him to a 2-year, $14 million deal. While Everett will be sharing snaps with Cole Kmet, who had a great year last season, this signing adds some great depth to the tight end position and will make the Bears a dangerous team in 2 tight end sets. The Bears rounded out their offensive additions by bringing in some much-needed depth at the offensive tackle position in Matt Pryor and Coleman Shelton at the center spot. Both of these players were brought in on low-risk, team-friendly deals. Defensive acquisitions in free agency. Defensively, it was clear that Chicago's main objective was to retain and bring in talent in their secondary in an attempt to better defend the pass in the 2024 season. They re-signed cornerback Jalen Johnson to a 4-year, $76 million deal. Johnson made the first Pro Bowl appearance of his career last season, where he recorded 4 interceptions, 1 pick six, and 36 tackles. He was also named to the All-Pro second team. Along with keeping Johnson, the Bears also signed Kevin Byard to a 2-year, $15 million deal. He is a 2-time Pro Bowler and 2-time member of the All-Pro first team. Byard is an extremely versatile player at the safety position, capable of excelling at both strong safety and free safety. With the struggles that Chicago had last year in defending the pass, he will be a great veteran presence and mentor that could even elevate the level of play from his teammates. Along with this, he will serve as a great replacement for Eddie Jackson. Rounding out the team's key defensive acquisitions is Jonathan Owens, another player who can add depth at the safety position to a team-friendly deal. Huge acquisitions in the draft. As previously mentioned, the Bears used the first overall pick to bring in Caleb Williams. Williams is the most hyped-up prospect at the quarterback position in years and has already drawn comparisons to players like Patrick Mahomes. If he comes anywhere close to this, he will go down as the greatest quarterback in franchise history and could quickly become the first Bear to ever throw for 4,000 yards in a season. It did not take long before the Bears were once again on the board in the first round and used the 9th overall pick to bring in wide receiver Rome Odunze. Odunze possesses an elite frame and uses it to dominate on 50-50 balls. Scouts have already compared him to Davante Adams, and he joins an already loaded wide receiver room that features Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. After not having a pick in the second round, Chicago added another offensive tackle to the mix, drafting Kieran Omegadijh with the 75th overall pick. He will be a much-needed piece to what should be a greatly improved offensive line for the Bears this season. In the 4th round, they selected punter Tory Taylor with the 121st overall pick. Taylor is arguably the best punter that this class had to offer, having 35 punts inside the 20 and being capable of punting up to 67 yards. With their final selection in the 5th round, Chicago added an edge rusher in Austin Booker with the 144th overall pick. Booker is a high-upside player who, if developed correctly, could end up being a steal in the 5th round and progress into an elite pass rusher. Could the Bears contend in the NFC North next season? It is hard to argue that the Bears did not have one of the best off-seasons from any team in the league. They went from almost being forced into making a long-term decision on a still improving quarterback in Justin Fields to landing one of the most hyped-up prospects at the position in years. Along with this, they added an immense amount of talent at their skill positions, signing DeAndre Swift, trading for Keenan Allen, and drafting Rome Odunze. Pairing this with the moves they made to improve their offensive line, this will look like a whole new Bears offense in the 2024 season. On the defensive side of the ball, Chicago already had a very solid defensive unit last season. Despite this, they were still able to make some crucial pickups, resigning Jalen Johnson and bringing in Kevin Byard to replace Eddie Jackson. Last season, the defense was forced to play the 20th most snaps in the league due to the offense being able to put together lengthy drives. This is a problem they should not run into next season and should lead to their secondary not getting burnt as much due to being fatigued. If they are able to make those necessary improvements to their passing defense while maintaining their ability to force turnovers and shut down the run, they could be a dangerous defense. All in all, the Bears are a scary team heading into the 2024 season. If Williams and Odunze live up to the potential that scouts saw in them, and the team meshes as well on the field as it appears that they will on paper, they could have a similar run to CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans last season and be a contender for years to come.